Hello everybody, I'm back and we're going to start again on Bioshock. Sorry about that, but the connection speed was a bit low, so I had to sort it out. We're going to start the game again, and I hope you enjoy, hopefully, a decent stream this time. We're on Bioshock 1 on PS5. Doo-doo-doo, the classic Bioshock. Doo-doo-doo. We're live on Bioshock.
They told me. Son, you're special.
They weren't lying, were they?
You were born to do great things. You know what? They were right.
We're starting. This is about my third time streaming on Kick. If you like what you see, please consider dropping that follow. Also remember I'm on D-Live, Twitch, Trovo, YouTube, Facebook, Gaming Live and Kick. So there you go.
I am Andrew Ryan.
Hello, Andrew.
And I'm here to ask you a question. Is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow?
Yes.
No, says the man in Washington, it belongs to the poor. No, says the man in the Vatican, it belongs to God. No, says the man in Moscow, It belongs to everyone.
No, says the wokey lefties.
I rejected those answers. Instead, I chose something different. I chose the impossible. I chose rapture. A city where the artist would not fear the censor, where the scientist would not be bound by petty morality, where the great would not be constrained by the small. And with the sweat of your brow, rapture can become your city as well.
The good old days when you could smoke inside. Oh yeah. Don't worry, sponsorship. Give it another 10 years, we'll all be fucking robots, mate. That's what we're going to go into. Can't do the fucking note. You won't be living in a free world, mate, I'll tell you. You'll be told what to do, and you fucking do it. Thank fuck, I'll be dead. Do-do-do. Welcome to Rapture.
Just one more minute. Spear's coming up now. Johnny's security's banging off all over. Get a move on.
I didn't mean no trespass. Just don't hurt me. Just let me go. You keep my gun.
Is it someone new?
Yes, it's Warric. She's a bit pissed off, what do you think?
Would you kindly pick up that shortwave radio?
I don't know how you survived that plane crash, but I've never been one to question Providence. I'm Atlas, and I aim to keep you alive. Now keep on moving. We're gonna have to get you to higher ground.
Higher ground.
Take a deep breath and step out of the bathysphere. I won't leave you twisting in the wind.
Okay, boy.
I need to draw her out of hiding, but you're gonna have to trust me.
I'll wrap you in a sheet.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to what Ken Levine's new game is coming. I forgot what it's called, but it's exactly like this. You got people, you got plasmids, you got everything. So obviously it's Bioshock, but it's a different name. So
Just a bit further. How do you like that, mister? Now, would you kindly find a crowbar or something? Bloody splicer. Seal Johnny in before they... Goddamn splicers.
Report me, you
My daddy's smarter than Einstein. Stronger than Hercules. And like a fire with a snap of his finger. Are you as good as my daddy, mister? Not if you don't visit the Gatherer's Garden, you aren't. Sorry.
let's have a bit of syringe.
Steady now. Your genetic
Calm.
code is being rewritten. Just hold on and everything will be fine.
It's okay, boyo. Are you okay, boyo? You just landed on your fucking head.
This little fish looks like he just had his cherry popped. Wonder if he's still got some Adam on him.
Has he got some Adam?
Yeah. Let's buck. Weak! You're a weak chopper. This little fish ain't worth towing it with no big daddy. Yellow, always have been. You'll be no better off with a metal daddy, little fish. See you floating right.
He's got to have a daddy.
Look, Mr. Bubbles, it's an angel. I can see light coming from his belly. Wait a minute, he's still breathing. It's all right. I know he'll be an angel soon.
Mr. Bubbles.
You alright, boyo? First time plasma's a real kick from a mule. But there's nothing like a fistful of lightning now, is there?
Splicer! Give him the combo. I'm not a bad person. Then whack him. 1-2 punch. Remember, the 1-2 punch.
Yeah, boyo.
I found Leave me alone! Come back! I didn't...
I've got a family. I need to get them out of here. But the splicers have cut me off from them. If you can reach them in Neptune's bounty, then maybe, just maybe... I know you must feel like the unluckiest man in the world right now. But you're the only hope I'll ever see my wife and child again. Go to Neptune's bounty. Find my family, please.
Neptune Spanty, baby.
Be there to save me from Mommy's gone.
Plasma's changed everything. They destroyed our bodies, our minds. We couldn't handle it. Best friends butchering one another. Babies strangled in cribs. The whole city went to hell.
More than words.
Do what I want. I earned it.
If I didn't care, would I feel this way?
Oh, got a bit small there.
Then why do I thrill?
Right.
And what makes my
slicer in the water. Hit him with the electrobolt.
Oh, they've been electrocuted. We're going through it, baby. Better lay down. Hello. Let's go to the other side first.
I'm too spliced up. I'm too spliced up. Nobody's gonna want me.
Hey, Brenda, you care to tell me why you've had a size of lemon rock coming out of your crapper going on 3 weeks now? Nah, I ain't saying I'm Shakespeare. I'm trying to run a respectable theater. I got working folk coming in from Port Neptune trying to catch a little diversion. And all I can think about is the stink coming out of your...
Careful now. Would you kindly lower that weapon for a minute? You think that's a child down there? Don't be fooled. She's a little sister now. Somebody went and turned a sweet baby girl into a monster. Whatever you thought about right and wrong on the surface, well, that don't count for much down in Rapture. Those little sisters, they carry Adam, the genetic material that keeps the wheels of Rapture turning. Everybody wants it, everybody needs it.
Ooh, some shit's gonna happen. He's looking around. Where's the daddy?
That's the big daddy. She got his on him. He keeps her safe.
Right, people, because this is a special edition, is one of the little discs. Now, do you want to watch the little video from Ken Levine? I'll put it on for a few minutes. Here we go.
Hey, I'm Jeff Keighley here in Boston to go behind the scenes to hear some untold stories about the making of Bioshock with Ken Levine and Sean Robertson. Let's talk a bit about the theme and setting of Bioshock, Rapture. I think a lot of people, when they played the game for the first time, Ken, they wondered, how did you even dream up this place? And I know you've said publicly before that part of the reason you sort of, what led you to Rapture was this idea of fully simulating a place. Tell us about that sort of idea and the frustrations you had with other games where you sort of hit a bound.
I think our philosophy was always to do what we were doing 100% rather than try to do something bigger and do it 50% or 40%. So one of the ideas of, and this sort of came from System Shock 2 as well, where you focus on an area that you can really bring to life and you kind of eliminate the questions of, well, why can't I go over the bridge to New Jersey? So we were able to really make a place, I think, that felt believable and real, even though in actuality it was really quite limited. But we just sort of dressed it with all these buildings outside that were all, basically glorified fakes. We let the story drive what we needed to show rather than some kind of like predetermined map.
You haven't seen it for lazy.
Which is a little different.
There's all these different documentaries all scattered all over the game if you open them up.
Yeah. Because I don't know what the philosophy felt a little different there, because you want to feel like a real spaceship that was sort of stacked on top of each other. Rapture was free to sprawl across the ocean floor.
Hey, doing
You guys originally, John, were talking about doing this game on a sort of spaceship again, right?
Yeah, when we first started talking about what the spiritual successor to System Shock 2 was going to be, spaceship came up, but again, we wanted a limited environment, and we didn't necessarily want to do spaceship again. And our first actual exploration of this space was underwater, but ultimately ended up looking like a spaceship. It just happened to have a couple of seaweed fronds outside. And that started to push us towards what artistic statement that we wanted to make this look different, and what rules we were going to set for the world. How at every turn we were going to try to remind the player that they were in fact underwater and that this wasn't a spaceship.
And how, like, underwater, we obviously know you did underwater.
Yeah, it's Jeff Keighley,
Like,
that's it, yeah.
Where did you come with the idea of, like, doing this underwater?
I think there was probably a conversation. It's like, well, what kind of places could be cut off from other places?
Yeah.
Like, well, spaceship, summer camp, any island notion, right? Something that's cut off from the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So you never felt like you should be able to go over that bridge to New Jersey.
I don't want to apply some deep and meaningful conversation. I think it was one of those ideas that you just kind of say, and then everybody's, that sounds cool, let's try that. Let's go for it.
And I think it lended itself to having very nice views out the window without having to build an insane amount of unique assets.
Right.
By today's standards, we still were a small team back then. And there's an expectation that because you're underwater, the view distances are going to be short, so you can really kind of fade out into the fog at a short distance and not have the expectation that, why can't I see forever? So there's a lot of limitations in a good way that we put on ourselves by being underwater, as opposed to, like, if you're on a cruise ship, then you'd expect to see across the water, and we'd have to deal with that. Same thing with an island.
Or
and
a city in the sky.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was a lot more complicated, yeah.
So you came up with the idea of, let's do this underwater, let's do this sort of isolated place. Then you had to answer the question of, why would someone build this? Is that sort of how it worked, sort of order of operations? You then had to come up with a story to explain?
Yeah, I think we wanted a very believable reason why they'd be there. Right. And sort of the necessary isolation of the place sort of led to, well, what kind of person would want to do this? And I wasn't even particularly aware of the sort of political implications of what I was reading, but I've been reading, I had read The Fountainhead. Right. By Ayn Rand, and I mostly thought it was an interesting story. Like, I didn't realize that people were sort of basing their sort of political lives around it, because I wasn't that tuned in to that stuff at that point. And so, but I love the dialogue and the kind of speechifying in it, because you can see a video game character speaking with that kind of certainty and that kind of confident philosophy. It just seemed like a natural kind of thing to apply to this place, and so it just sort of all came together as a sort of who is the guy who would do this? Well, that character. He was sort of this amalgamation of characters from Ayn Rand's books and Ayn Rand herself. This sort of idealistic person who says, well, the only way to do this is to separate from the rest of the world, and that led to Andrew Ryan.
I am Andrew Ryan, and I'm here to ask you a question. Is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow? No, says the man in Washington, it belongs to the poor. No, says the man in the Vatican, it belongs to God. No, says the man in Moscow, it belongs to everyone.
We knew from a technical standpoint that we wanted isolation. We also knew to sell it, we needed a compelling storyline, a backstory that why would this place exist? Otherwise, how are we going to make Rapture feel like it's lived in if we don't have the reason for it to be there? So once we decided on the underwater location and then the closed off spaces, that objectivist story kind of came in and made
it's got
the
some
art
good cover
stronger,
art.
made the level design stronger because we could feed back into that loop.
And I think that's why we had to have sort of Andrew Ryan's pitch right at the beginning of the game. We wanted people to understand why somebody would go there. And so he makes this very personal one-to-one pitch to the gamer, but also that was the pitch he'd make to people, which was, you know, there's a place that you can be free of all these things, where you could not be sort of put upon by the government and not be afraid of nuclear war and not be afraid of all these other things that will plague you on the surface. We wanted that pitch to sort of resonate and make sense, because that's, otherwise by the time you got there, you'd be like, well, this place is just fantasy. Nobody would ever come here. And then the beauty of the place also was also tied into that. It had to be a very attractive proposition, or people who would believe that people would go, leave their lives and go to the bottom of the ocean.
I'm sure in some ways you had to convince the team and enroll them in your sort of vision of, you know, who this character was going to be and what the setting was going to be. How did that work, Sean? I mean, did Ken come in and say, hey, I've been reading these books, and I think we could sort of...
I believe he just came in one day on a horse and said, Ayn Rand, everybody read The Fountainhead.
Exactly. I bought 30 copies of
Yeah, I think, you know...
Here's a 2,000-page book or something.
Yeah.
Go read it.
And it really is more organic. You know, like I said, we knew that we had this location, and you struggle to fill it with stories, and you struggle to find meaning of why does this place exist? You know, what's my motivation? And as Ken started to explore Ayn Rand a little more and started talking to us about it, and we were having that conversation, and it's like, oh, this could totally work. Like, this is exciting. Like, this is something that really hasn't been done in a video game before. And if we had flipped it and come up with the idea first before the location, I don't think we would have really been that excited about it. But we had a location, and now we're trying to fill it with that story, and because of the order of operation there, you start to get excited, like, oh, I could totally make this work. This is going to really make it feel like a lived-in space.
You know, as you think of sort of the, you know, the setting, and you think of maybe a character or something, was there a moment that you think back, it's like, oh, like right then and there, like I got excited when you attached the Ayn Rand
For me, it was
going
to Rockefeller Center and seeing the visual. So I told this story before, but my wife and I were in New York, and we went to Rockefeller Center, which was, if you go to Rockefeller Center, it basically looks exactly like Rapture. It's because every building, you're sort of encircled. It's this block in New York, or a couple of blocks in New York, where Radio City Music Hall is, and where 30 Rockefeller Plazas, where you see that show 30 Rock, and the ice skating rink, and where they put the Christmas tree, and it's this very iconic location. But what's cool about it, it's all one, unlike the rest of the city. Everywhere you look, it's one architectural style. It's Art Deco. And it's very iconic Art Deco. And my wife and I were there, and we were sort of working on the game, and we didn't have a visual style. And all of a sudden, I started looking around, and I said, oh, this could be a visual for the game. Also, the geometry of it was actually quite conducive to making a video game, because it wasn't overly complicated geometry. Art Deco is quite
bold and simple.
Bold and geometric, and simple. And so my wife and I bought a couple of tourist cameras this was before iPhone cameras, exactly. You know.
Throwaway cameras,
yeah, throwaway cameras, those little Kodak things, and we just started photographing doorknobs and light fixtures, and just sort of developed the photos. Remember that? Brought them in and said,
come to the office, here's a stack of stuff,
here's a stack of photos.
Take a look.
I'll see you guys in a couple of years. Go make this.
City where the artist would not fear the censor, where the scientist would not be bound by petty morality, where the great would not be constrained by the small. And with the sweat of your brow, Rapture can become your city as well.
So you had kind of a theme, you came up with an art style, some of the iconic characters, and then, you know, you really had to build the narrative around it. And you've talked about, you know, a lot of the themes in the game, and, you know, greed, jealousy, sex, violence, all the things that sort of, you know, drive us or what destroy us. And that was something I think that, you know, as you thought about the story of the game, you wanted to, I'm sure, reflect some of those, right? Because I think people love the characters, it's sort of flawed in a way, and this is a world which is its own little microcosm, but had a lot of tension inside of it.
Yeah, I mean, the character of Ryan was sort of, he's basically invisible through most of the game, right? You know, except for a very small portion. But he's very present because he exists, the city is him, right? You know, it's such a representation of him. We never want to cut away to a cutscene where you saw Andrew Ryan, you know, planning and scheming. We wanted him to be very present without actually being present. But once you had Ryan, and once you had his desire to protect this vision of his, you just had to then come up with the characters who'd be arrayed in opposition to him. So we had this character, the Big Daddy, and then eventually the character, the Little Sister. And so characters like Tenenbaum came along, like, here's a person who's in opposition to him for this reason. And then you have, for more noble reasons. And then you have a character like Atlas, who's much more cynical opposition. Once we had all those characters arrayed, we're like, well, who are you? And, you ended up being a sort of, a pawn in the middle of all this opposition to Ryan. We just kept sort of homing in on that theme and making sure that you weren't, eventually figuring out that you couldn't just be here by an accident, that you're an integral part of this story, even though you don't know you're an integral part of this story. You think you're just there by happenstance.
Look, Mr. Bubbles, it's an angel. I can see light coming from his belly. Wait a minute, he's still breathing. It's all right. I know he'll be an angel soon.
Right, that's that first part of that little commentary. Hope you like that. Let's carry on with the game. These are like little commentaries hid around the game in like the director's cut and remastered version. That was the first one. I've never actually seen them all. They're pretty much hid well around the game. It's the kind of thing you need a walkthrough to find where they are.
So stuck. I didn't.
Security alert in progress.
Smile and be yourself.
Come on.
There's another way to get there. Head to medical. What are you waiting for? Go!
Splicers.
Oh, Christ! You're trapped! Gonna try to override the exit from here.
So tell me, friend, which one of the bitches sent you? The KGB wolf or the CIA jackal? Here's the news. Rapture isn't some sunken ship for you to plunder. And Andrew Ryan isn't a giddy socialite who can be slapped around by government muscle. And with that, farewell, or
Yes, Badania. Welcome everybody to the stream of Bioshock on PS5, and I love these classic games.
Now you've met Andrew Ryan, the bloody king of Rapture. Now find your way to emergency access.
When you get some money, come back when you get some money, buddy.
I'm busy, I'm nauseous, and sometimes I'm even saying things that aren't there.
You just need to slow down a bit on the splice.
Dr. Steinman said he released me today. Ryan didn't come to see me since the New Year's attack, not once. But Dr. Steinman was very attentive. He told me that once the scar tissue was gone, he was gonna fix me right up, make me prettier than any girl I've ever seen. He's sweet, all right. And so interested in my case.
Oh shit. I hate these puzzles.
Keep away from that! My judgment! Don't get off here!
Ryan and Adam. Adam and Ryan. All those years of study, and was I ever truly a surgeon before I met them? How we plinked away with our scalpels and toy morality. Yes, we could lop a boil here and shave down a week there, but could we really change?
If you want to use the emergency access, you'll be needing Dr. Steinman's key. He's the one that runs this place. So I don't expect you to hand him yet, and they'll get humankind. Steinman ain't that kind. Frankly, not even sure he's still human. Now you've rattled the monkey cage. Here they come.
Okay, fine, you'll be back!
Where did you go?
Come here and say we can see you.
Come on.
You promised me pretty, Steinman. You promised me pretty. Now look at me. Look at me!
We've got to have standards, even in awful times.
You keep an eye peeled.
feel for Steinman. The daft bastard set up shop in the surgery wing. You want to find him? Just follow the blood.
Adam presents new problems for the professional. As your tools improve, so do your standards. There was a time.
Remember, all them machines will short out right and proper if you hit them with electromotive.
I was at German prison camp, only 16 years old when I realized I have love for science. German doctor, he makes experiments. Sometimes he makes scientific errors.
My little friend.
I tell him of this error, and this makes him angry. But then he asks, how can a child be so pathetic? I tell him sometimes I just crazy. Then why help him? Well, I said if you are going to do such things, at least you should do them properly.
Right, let's go. Good auto hack tool there.
Why do we have two eyes?
I'm not finished! Not finished!
You'll have to find some way to get through to surgery and Steinman. Chin up now. The Lord hates the quitter. I can hear that splicer sounding off like it's the 4th of July. Explosives are hard to come by down here. But if you get your hands on one of them telekinesis plasmids, you can catch the damn firebombs and toss it right back in his gob. Or anything else that might be standing in your way.
Come on, let's go and find it.
I'm your better!
Yeah, I need some bloody I had to sort that out first.
Steinman, I know medical pavilion is your matter, but you might want to cogitate on this. Ocean water is colder than the cheese tip. You don't let pipes, pipes freeze, pipes freeze, pipes burst, then ratchet leaks. Now, I realise you're a posh sort of geezer, and frankly, I don't give a toss if you piss or go fishing. But once Rapture starts leaking, the old girl's never going to stop. And then I'll be sure to tell Ryan he's got you to thank.
has been brought to my attention that some citizens have discovered ways to hack the vending machines. I should not need to remind each and every citizen of Rapture that free enterprise is the foundation upon which our society has been established. Parasites will be punished.
Oh, you bastard, let's get this.
Me, Mike, stop! They talk.
On the surface, the parasite expects the doctor to heal them for free, the farmer to feed them out of charity. How little they differ from the pervert who prowls the streets looking for a victim he can ravish for his grotesque amusement.
Dandy Dental.
What is the greatest lie ever created? What is the most vicious obscenity ever perpetrated on mankind?
Eternal flame crematorium to melt the blockage. Well, we need to go to the... It's got to be in here then.
darling! How dare you touch me!
It's in here. Burn, bitch.
All roads in Rapture lead to Ryan. Security, the splicers, the big daddies, the little sisters. He pumps some kind of chemical scent in the air. Pheromones, they call it. Makes them all dance to his tune.
Keep away from my taker!
Come on.
Who is it? Vulgar.
Oh, we're going to get the shotgun in a minute. Just go in here for a minute.
Go away!
Lot 44.
Because of its tendency to... Nurse? Hold him down! Nurse!
Come on, bastards. Let's go.
Tacky little nothing!
Kneecaps.
Plasmid proceeding well. Lifting objects at distance presents no problem. Moving objects through space, no problem. Cannot stop speeding bullet, but can catch and throw faster moving object. Problem not with plasmid. Problem with reaction time. Stitch, I'm just getting an idea for plasmid.
What is that? Go!
Come on! Let's rock!
At the German prison camp, they put me to work on genetic experiments on other prisoners. They call me Das Wunderkind, a wonder child.
Das Wunderkind.
Germans. All they can talk about is blue eyes and the shape of forehead. All I care about is why is this one born strong and that one weak? This one smart, that one stupid. All that killing. You'd think the Germans could have been interested in something useful.
I'm ready for dreamtime, Mr.
Crawling! You're sick!
Come on.
Unsanitary!
Shows you what your buddy knows. Horizons for a trial of
Today I had lunch with the goddess. Steinman, she said, I'm here to free you from the tyranny of the commonplace. I'm here to show you a new kind of beauty. I asked her, what do you mean, goddess? Symmetry, dear Steinman. It's time we did something about symmetry.
What can I do with this one, Aphrodite? You won't stay still! I want to make them beautiful, but they always turn out wrong! That one! This one! Too tall! This one! Too symmetrical! And now... What's this goddess? An intruder! He's ugly! 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 Look at you!
You alright? It was time somebody took care of that sick bastard. Make sure you get the key off Steinman and head back to emergency access. I'm working my way to the backside of Port Neptune myself.
Come on, let's rock. Come on. Enjoying it? Yeah, what do people? Here's our follow.
Aphrodite is walking the hall, shimmering like a scalpel. Stein, she calls. Stein, I have just before. Just open your eye, and when I see her, she cuts me into a
Baby.
Approaching a little sister is a criminal offense. Do not approach the little
Sounds like another tunnel collapse. Welcome to Rapture, the world's fastest growing pilot junk. It's a little one. Here's your chance to get some Adam.
Or am I going to be a good boy? Or am I going to be a bad boy?
Stay away from her, or it is you who will be shot next.
Easy now, Doctor. He's just looking for a wee bit of Adam. Just enough to get by.
I'll not have him hurt my little ones.
It's okay, lad. It's not a child. Not anymore, it ain't. Dr. Tenenbaum saw to that.
Bitte do not hurt her. Have you no heart?
Aye, that's a pretty sermon coming from the ghoul who cooked up them creatures in the first place. Took fine little girls and turned them into that, didn't you? Listen to me, Bio. You won't survive without the Adam those things are carrying. Are you prepared to trade your life, the lives of my wife and child, for Tenenbaum's little Frankenstein?
Here. There is another. Use this. Free them from their torment. I will make it to be worth your while. Somehow.
I'm going to be a good guy.
No! 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 You saved me.
The path of the righteous is not always easy, yes. The reward will become clear in time. Be patient.
Tenenbaum's playing you for a sap. Those things may look like wee little girls, but looks don't make it so. You need all the Adam you can get to survive. If you cross paths with another of them gatherers garden machines, make sure you pick up a new plasmid or two. That's if the price ain't too dear, of course.
Right, let's have a upgrade.
You're ready now. Time to take on one of them big daddies. It won't be easy, but it's the only way to get the little sister. And the Adam they carry.
I want the old electric back again, but I've got a bloody change it. I think you have to go to a bank to change it back over. Plasmid bank.
my features finer. With Adam and my scalpel, I have been transformed. But is there not something better? But if now it is not my skill that fails me, but my imagination.
You got Ryan's eye now. You won't hear him coming, but he'll be there before you know it.
Welcome to the circus of value. Come back when you get some money, buddy.
Why are you dragging out your treatment?
The fucking am I going?
Security alert deactivated. Thank you for your patience.
I don't know how you managed it, but you did. Come through to Port Neptune now. I'm looking forward to shaking your hand. Now you had the pleasure of Andrew Ryan's company. He's the one who built this place, and he's the one who ran it into the ground. Nobody knows exactly what happened. Maybe he went mad. Maybe the power got to him. Maybe he just decided he didn't like people. Whichever way you slice it,
Welcome
man
to
died.
the circus
His
of
family's in a
value.
submarine hidden in the foundation of Fontaine Fisheries. I'll meet you there.
Thank you, mister. Thank you.
Right, people, that's where I'm going to leave the stream of Bioshock Part 1. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next stream. Hope you enjoyed it.